I'm well live. People deluded. I'm back again. Big up you lot tuned in. Big up you lot on Twitch. Make sure you're subscribed with Amazon Prime. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor. Get comfortable. Get the creative juices flowing. Smash the like button. Participate in the poll. Turn on your notification bells. As you lot all know, Arsenal are playing Crystal Palace tomorrow. I believe it's 8 p.m. kickoff. So we'll be live to begin our watch along, people, at 7 p.m. Make sure you're there. Even if you can't be there, smash the like button now. Mikel Arteta is giving his press conference. We're going to go over all of that. There's been some injury news with Jorginho, with Calafiori touching on Saka. Indirectly, he's touched on Bukayo Saka's contract. Completely off topic, but Jack Wilshere is going to be managing Norwich in what's left of the championship season. And as you know, yesterday or the day before, Aaron Ramsey, likewise at Cardiff, and they faced the prospect of facing off. Now, I'm only 30, and Mikel Arteta, I've seen you be a player at Everton, PSG, Arsenal Football Club, go to City and become our manager. So I shouldn't be weirded out, but it always weirds me out when I've seen the whole playing career of certain players. Like, I can still remember when we signed Aaron Ramsey at 17 years of age. And then obviously, I don't want to describe it as a nothing game. Both teams in Arsenal and Crystal Palace have a lot to play for. There's fans tuned in from all over the world. There's away traveling fans where Crystal Palace are concerned. Obviously, there's fans watching it all over the world at stupid o'clock where Arsenal's concerned. People are season ticket holders. And I'm sure Mikel Arteta and Arsenal want to keep winning games, want to keep the momentum, not draw ourselves into a top four race. Likewise, it's a game where, although we have quite, we all know the what's the right word? Hectic fixture calendar list we've had, but we have a couple of days off between Crystal Palace and obviously the big game against Paris Saint-Germain. That being said, I'd love to know you lot starting 11s. Would you throw Nwaneri and Sterling in there? Would you keep it the same? And also, I would say Crystal Palace have the more questions to ask because they're going to play Nottingham Forest, I believe, on Saturday at Wembley. So they're going to have to be cute and clever. I think it's written in the stars. I know Smith Rowe didn't score at the Emirates, but probably Eddie Nketiah scores tomorrow, people. He's had a tough season. So yeah, there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot to go over. We're going to get into all of that in just a second, people. But you have to have manners. Big up you lot tuned in. Next poll should be, will Arsenal win the Champions League? Let's see who really believes. Hype up, big up yourself, man. Man's on YouTube and Twitch, man. Appreciative. Little Tim's, big up you, man. Big up you, because without you, I wouldn't have been able to clip up that part of the stream. You're a madman, but shout out to you, man. As the man has said, and several people, smash the like button. If you've done such already, appreciate you. Riley, part of the furniture. K, part of the furniture. So yeah, man, you lot get comfortable, man, and let's crack on, lads and ladesses. Now, where I look at Crystal Palace, I don't want to refer to it as a full circle moment, but it feels like that because it feels like a blur between that Crystal Palace away game and, the two games against Real Madrid and everything in between up until this point. But it's a full circle moment because although Marino stepped up, Trossard did the business at Ipswich, we've been scoring goals. We got 100 goals in all comps after the 4 against Ipswich. It feels like a full circle moment. One does wonder what Gabriel Jesus would have done this season if he didn't get the injury. And the Kai Havertz is, the Gabriel Jesus is, etc. on this of this world. You want to have everybody and anybody fit in what's left of this season, man. What have you said? Mate, Little Tim's a mod. He's on every man's channel and he's a funny guy. You know what? The mods have advocated for you, man. So let me do that now. Little Tim's, with great power comes great responsibility, guys. Please, mods, we've got a good set of mods here. Don't mess it up, man, please. We've been picking, views of sport, you always hear as well. You have to hold the mod as well. So yeah, man, smash the like button. Let's, we have a laugh and a joke. And do you know what? Completely off topic, yeah? You lot don't rate me. You lot actually don't rate me, yeah? Because one thing, and I need to pause this before we get done for copyright, matter of fact, yeah? But as I was saying, one thing that, it doesn't annoy me about YouTube, yeah? But it's like, obviously, if we look at you lot in your lives, yeah? Like all of you lot here, I'm sure, God forbid, but if you died, or if your mother, father, family members, sisters, friends, best friends, or corporate folks said, yeah, about you, they'd all have different views. You might be a bit bubbly there or elsewhere. One thing that annoys me, yeah, is it's like you only have to be one way on YouTube, and it did shock me, Big up Rants, me and Rants, we talk ball, we have a bit of a laugh and a joke. I throw the banter back, but I was probably in full form in the last stream I did with Rants, and everyone's like, "Bro, I've never seen this version of DJ." Like, what version? Like, but anyways, man, it is what it is. I just wanted to say that it's like you lot think I'm very serious, and you know what's funny? Yeah, some of you say I'm lively, I'm entertaining. Some of you say I'm boring. So it's like, it is what it is. I feel like a professional footballer in that stage where everyone's allowed an opinion just as long as they're talking. Come on, you vouch for views. That's enough for me, man. Classified, that man's a mutant. He does deserve getting a cooking. Who are you referring to? But yeah, Brazilians, as EAA has said, man, Brazilians. And what would have been? Do you know what? The world's funny in that. I don't want to throw a doom and gloom on things. Appreciate that, man. Man said on Friday. Appreciate you lot. I don't want to throw a doom and gloom on things, but football's weird in that. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This time next year, if we're going into a game like Real Madrid, I want to have squad depth. You know, I like Marino up front. I like what Lewis-Skelly's irrelevant, but you know, I like what Lewis-Skelly's doing. I like what Kivio's done. But I don't want to go into a side like I don't want to go into them games with a depleted side. But there's a reality, unfortunately, where if we had Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, and everyone fit, maybe that Madrid result does not happen. But we need depth. The manager's spoken about it several occasions. He's spoken recently about quality versus quantity. I'm actually going to do, you know what, like, again, we've got to diversify the content. So I'm going to get back to doing them edited pieces. I think there's something in it between how small our squad is, Andrea Berta. So yeah, man, turn on your notification bells. But what could have been, because Gabriel Jesus, his form was kind of turning around, really. And forgive me if I'm wrong. Obviously, it's not nice to go out the FA Cup because that's our trophy. I believe we should be playing in the semi-finals. We should be bullish. We should still be in a title. I know everything's ideal, but at a minimum, we should still be in a title race. We should be bullish about our chances against Paris Saint-Germain. We should have a trip to Wembley, but it is what it is. I'm sure he got injured against Man United, and it sucks because he was doing his thing. So feels like a bit of a full circle moment for me. And obviously, Gabriel Jesus is one thing. This man, when we battered Crystal Palace 5-1, this was a dampener. It's like, not that we didn't care about the 3 points or anything, but Saka went down, and we're very, naturally, I think you can have concerns about, is Saka going to get back to his best? Is there going to be long-term effects from his hamstring? Are we rushing him back? Do the physios know what they're doing? And fair play, when it doesn't work out, like we've seen to a degree with Benjamin White and Calafiori of occasions, asks what's going on. We're not physios. I don't think any team is going to put somebody out there if they don't believe they can play. But if we're going to do that, we have to give the flowers between Saka, whatever you've done individually to your rehab, big up yourself and everybody in and around you. And do you know what? We'll get onto it, but I reckon Saka starts tomorrow. That's actually second start since December. It's crazy, and it might not look like it on paper. But I would say this is an all-time season for Saka because he started off blisteringly well, got injured, 3 months he's out, came back like he's never left. It feels like a blur. You saw what he did against Crystal Palace. You saw what he did against Real Madrid in both legs, including the missed penalty and the mentality. It's just different. It's just different. Like, it's Saka. This is where I'm not going to be disingenuous, but for me, seeing you at 16, 17, 18, seeing what you've been doing for this club for a number of years, yeah, you've obviously carried this team, but and it's obviously happened a long time before this, but this is where I think you've truly awoken. This is where I think you've become a man. This is where I think not saying he's better than this one, that one, but you know who he shared the pitch with in Real Madrid. And that was where I looked at it, it's like, yeah, you belong here kind of thing, man. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Man said Lee keeps it a bit too serious with rants, so big up to you, DG. Appreciate that, man. Shout out Lee. There are two types of people who know ball and people who like to think they know ball. Knowing in life or being knowledgeable, the one knowledgeable thing or the true path to wisdom is knowing F all, if I'm honest with you. DG, check this out, 2-part A incident. 1 second, my boy. Obviously, you can't click links via StreamYard, so I have to go into YouTube. Yeah, I would like to see what's going on there. What's happening? Elite play acting. But it's funny, though, because Rudiger got away with murder. Jude Bellingham got away with murder in both legs. Spoiled pricks. To be fair to Partey, though, shouldn't have. Learning curve, innit? One of our more experienced players. He bit the bait there, innit? I think that's an extremely harsh yellow card, but Arsenal tax. Saka's world-class and then some, my boy. Ceballos, elite scumbag, but we've been knowing this already. But yeah, Saka's come a long way from his injury. Let's see what the manager said directly in relation to the press conference, folks. This is going to upset me if we keep looking at it. On Saka's fitness, we have to wait and see how he reacts after the session, but it's nothing too serious. When further asked, can he play on Wednesday? If we want to, I think he'd have a good chance to play tomorrow. On Jorginho and Calafiori now, again, with them two, you're more so Jorginho because Partey suspended for the first leg. You're now starting to think about, is Jorginho going to be there? And if he's not there, I don't know what we do. Does Marino go into midfield, which I think will be the case, and then Trossard goes up front, and then there's a bit of mixing and blending in that regards? Is he going to go with Lewis-Skelly centre mid? I think for him to go with Lewis-Skelly centre mid, I think that would actually mean Zinchenko starting at left back just to keep the quote unquote balance and the ethos and all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, if you go with Tierney, you might have to be reliant on Timber and or Benjamin White, depending who starts to do the inverted thing from the right. So it just comes back to squad depth, innit, really? You know, give or take. The manager says 19. Some people say we got a squad of 22. We need it slightly bigger than that. Where you look through the squad, there's question marks about a lot of players actually long-term futures here. And it's no coincidence. If you look at the 2022-23 season and heading into next summer, or this summer for next season, that would be a 4-year period that the vast majority of this squad has been around. So there naturally has to be some level of evolution, but it comes back to depth. And it does make you wonder what was going on in the summer and the ball we dropped there. And probably more focused on a striker, but in January. But despite that, we have got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. We should have went beyond the semi-finals in the League Cup against Newcastle, in my humble opinion. I don't think we put our best foot forward, but on paper we did get there. FA Cups, I don't even. We should still be in it. And the Premier League is probably where we've performed. Champions League, we've probably performed the best on metrics. Premier League is where we shot ourselves in the foot, man. Like, bro, we're 12, 13, 14, 15 points off Liverpool. I don't know, because nobody's checking anymore. And there's nothing to really play for in the Premier League. Obviously, mathematically, if anything, it's the European competitions places like the Champions League, the Europa League, maybe for the likes of Chelsea, Man United, Spurs, depending on where it goes. Them lot there. Conference League relegation's done, in which Spurs are lucky. Them, man, they've got 17, 18 losses this season. They were calling Postecoglou the new Arsene Wenger. They were saying that Spurs could go invincible. They were doing up when they do them idiot point tallies of at this point last season. Okay, as we know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know about the hare and the tortoise, but we don't need to waffle about shit twats. Let's carry on with our team. Yes, Ricky is out, Jorginho as well. For Jorginho, I think, unfortunately, it'll be a few weeks. And it's a bit of a weird one from Jorginho, because you want to see him healthy, but it weren't like a typical football injury kind of thing. He was holding his chest and whatnot. Moving away from that, on whether he would rather have 6 days off after the game or not. Well, it's what we have. Let's take the opportunity. First of all, earn the right to win the game tomorrow against a really good side that have a really good record away from home as well. After that, we'll have time to prepare the game very well, which is true. And I think if you ask Arteta, I would say yes and no. I'd say yes, because, boy, we've had games coming thick and fast. I'm sure the manager, the physios, the players, with the dynamics that we're obviously at this moment in time, smash the like button. They'll take a break. But I genuinely, obviously, I can criticize why we went out of these tournaments, but we want to be a team that can compete in 4 trophies. The FA Cup is our cup. Only United can talk to us. And I guess it's romantic because Forest could win it. You know, Forest could win it. Palace could win it. Admittedly, I don't even know the other teams. Is City still in it? I don't know. In fact, what we can do is actually go look. Let's go and see. Go to today. Go to Saturday. Saturday's a weird. No, Sunday's the weird one. So you got Crystal Palace, Aston Villa on Saturday, 5:15. We might do a watch along if you lot want that. If you don't, I'm not gonna bother you lot. And to be fair, you've got Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, and City. You got the Crystal Palace Villa game on the Saturday. On the Sunday, you've got Nottingham Forest versus Manchester City, in which could be a good week for Nottingham Forest, man. I mean, if they could win the FA Cup and the Champions League place, they've overperformed. They've done very well. On the same day, on the Sunday, though, you've got Nottingham Forest, Manchester City, and you've got Liverpool Spurs. Which one would you lot prefer a watch along for? Because, you know, Spurs versus Liverpool is a good game. Nottingham Forest versus City is. When you look at it, the Prem's wrapped up in it, really. It's a nothing game of sorts. I do think Liverpool Spurs is filled with goals and controversy, but it's a nothing game, really. Liverpool have won the league. Spurs, there's nothing they can do. Their hopes are in the Europa League. Obviously, Forest versus City, there's a lot to play for. And actually, it's a double header of sorts, because Liverpool's women are playing Spurs women in the same fixture. But yeah, we've been diversing. Let's get back onto task, people. Can you lot see? Because actually, wouldn't mind zooming in a bit. But yeah, I don't think the gaffer would disagree with that. On whether that gap will play a part in team selection. Yes, we have more days. The amount of options that we have is not that many, especially because of where some of the players are coming and the amount of minutes that they can play. But it's good to have a little gap because we are really short in numbers. On experimenting without Thomas Partey, yeah, well, the reason for it was because Thomas wasn't available to start the game. At the end, we decided to not even play him because he wasn't feeling particularly well. So we have some options. We have the opportunity to experiment, but we have all of this as well. On whether there's any update on the Thomas Partey contract, in which we're going to further get onto in a hot second, people. On Thomas, you can't waste any more minutes with Andrea on Thomas, you can waste many more minutes with Andrea if you want. So that's him saying, yeah, I know what we're trying to do with Partey, but Let me shift that. Let me say, Andrea. When have you seen Andrea Berta give an interview so far at Arsenal? So, bit of mind games from the gaffer. On Liverpool getting ready to celebrate, our incentive is to win our game and do our best to continue with the round that we're in right now. The rest we cannot control. If another team suffers, yeah, it depends on how you make them suffer when talking about winding up the opposition. Spurs can do what they want. I'm with the manager. Who cares? On Odegaard's stats at the weekend, yes, he was great. I think he was really good in the match. I think he affected the game in the way that we want. When you look at the numbers he provided, he was exceptional. So that's the level that we need from Martin. On Jack Wilshere becoming the interim manager at Norwich, yeah, wishing him the best. Obviously, he decided to accept the role with the games that are left. The same with Aaron as well. It's very good to see some ex-teammates taking important roles in management. So we're wishing the best to both of them. It's weird because you got, Wilshere, Ramsey, Arteta. Mertesacker, he's a coach of sorts in the case. Football's getting weird, man. Theo Walcott on the punditry and whatnot. So yeah, man, let's get the likes up, man. Ten Heisenberg, they were gassing him. DG, you know the watch-alongs I needed. You owe us after the Real Madrid howler. To be fair, I got the call up, man. I had to go. I didn't let you lot down, and I still came back and stayed and streamed for stupid o'clock, and still got up in the morning. So I tried my best, man. What the people want, the people get. So Wembley watch along. It's nice, man. You lot communicate. I give you what you want, man. Appreciative. DG, it feels like this PSG game is taking a year to reach. I just want to get over and done with. You're not alone, man. But I think we need to stay steady, man. Don't worry. Tuesday, before you know it. Once it hits Friday, I promise you're going to think it's tomorrow. Smash the like and sub button on the way to 70K. Come on, people. We can do it. I say we because it's our platform. Now, Rant Stefan knows ball, man. He's just on the Arsenal agenda thing, but that's my guy, man. Cesc Fabregas as well. He's doing his thing at Como. Yeah, you're right. Cesc Fabregas too. Jabi Alonso. I don't know why that always weirds me out. I'd say the weirdest one for me is probably Scott Parker, you know. It's probably Scott Parker. I don't know why, but it's probably Scott Parker or company. Congratulations to Leeds and Burnley, by the way, for getting promoted to the Premier League. On whether Martinelli's contribution has been overlooked, certainly not by us, but when you look at the consistency shown over the last few years, the amount of goals he scored at his age and the contribution to a big club like Arsenal, who he hit 50 goals at the weekend, let's be real, should have got there a lot sooner. It's not easy at all. So I think he's on the right path. He's a fantastic player to work with. His work ethic, his understanding, his desire to play every minute of every competition. That's the kind of character and leaders we want in the team, and I'm very, very happy with him. Fair play. On the job Glasner has done, he's done very well, man. He's got, respectfully to Roy Hodgson, he's got them playing a lot of good football. They're in the semi-finals at Wembley. They're doing what they're doing. We know we smashed them 5-1 in December. We know Crystal Palace don't want that to happen, and we know we'd like to do that again. On if there's a temptation to rest everybody ahead of Paris Saint-Germain, we cannot think in those terms. I think when the players are fit and they're available, they want to play. They have to play. And they're at their best when they're playing and they have consistency in their performances. And physically, they're good. Emotionally, they're good. Their understanding and the rhythm and the way they make decisions is at their best. That's why we need the players. If they're not available, there's no discussion. If they're not in a good condition to perform, we're not going to play them. And if they are, we are going to play them. So that says, F it, I'm going to do what I need to do. On not forgiving himself if any players get injured on Wednesday. There's always a balance, and obviously you want to balance the risk and make sure that you are sensible with your decision making. But that's what we have as well, our very top staff to guide us and to tell us what we should be doing and what the risks are when we do that. But unfortunately in football, anything can happen, and the game starts when the game finishes. To write the story of what should have happened, and that's easy. So do it before. On whether players will still want to go into management. I mean, naturally, it's at their discretion. Keeping up with more important matters, I would say, of this press conference, folks. On Jorginho, if he'll be back before the end of the season. I hope so, but I'm not certain. Pardon me. So we have to see how he evolves in the next few days. I would say a few weeks. So the doctor was quite cautious still about talking about any date. So let's see. The good news is that he's improving. He's feeling much better. It was quite a scary situation, and he's in a good place now. Now, unfortunately, but fortunately with Arteta, you can't, when it comes to injuries, he's a bit cute and clever with it. I don't know if maybe there's a reality. Jorginho is fighting to be fit for PSG, and he probably will. And just a bit of mind games. The manager's going to keep you guessing. Maybe he's being honest with that. I guess we don't know. But again, it comes back to the depth. Hopefully, Berta's on the case for next season so that these things are not necessarily said. On Calafiori, well, 3 of the injuries, obviously, they're impact injuries. One is a really bad twist. It could have been worse, to be fair. And he's managing the player well. So he's managing the player as well. he's managing the player as well. I'm not sure what that means. So now we learn many more things about the player and how we can be much more on top of certain situations to try to prevent them. But it's true that the two main ones, they've been really unlucky and very little that we could have done differently. On Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey said, well, yes, because I don't have the close contact like I have with Jack. And I was very clear with Jack's intentions. But with Aaron, no. And it doesn't surprise me because obviously with his experience, where he's been, what he's done in the game, if he wants to do it, he's able to do it. We all have different characters. He's decided to do it. Very brave decision. On whether they are disciples of Arsene Wenger, you all are. Well, hopefully, I think Arsene should be very proud that he had 3 players under him that I think he inspired, and he helped us to ignite again this love for the game that we want to continue that he did in the past. On scoring from short corners, corner boys in the building. Yes, and when the team's adapting to do something, the weaknesses will be somewhere else. And that's our job, to try to analyze that and exploit it as good as we can, people. Moving away from that, on whether left back will be Myles Lewis-Skelly's position for the rest of his career, I wouldn't go that far. I think for now and what he's providing to the team and the needs that we have and the role that we have as a fullback, probably yes. But he stepped into midfield the other day and he looked very, very comfortable. He's played his whole career and he's good. Another player that can play different positions at the highest level. So good news. And I mean, when you bully Man City and Real Madrid and you show the consistency, if we're going to keep you at left back and you're going to do the Ashley Cole comparisons, whether you're going to lock down centre mid, either as a 4, as a 8, as a 6, whether you're able to play both, we're here for it. Remember, Bukayo Saka had to earn his chops at left back, left wing. Actually, you've seen him play centre mid and right wing under Arteta before, obviously moving over to that hand side. You could say Smith Rowe's a 10/centre mid. He had to play off the left. And you look at Iwobi, etc. Versatility is something they got to do. On whether he could play in central midfield to replace Thomas Partey. Yes, he can play as an 8. He can play as a 6. He's played there before many times. He has the qualities to do that. I like Lewis-Skelly as a potential 6, I'll be real. But then I do like him as a box-to-box midfielder, man. I do think there's many gears. I don't even think we've scratched anything close to the surface with Myles Lewis-Skelly, which is great. And, you know, with Partey leaving, Lewis-Skelly's got to figure in that kind of centre mid thinking of some degree. On Saka getting up to speed so quickly after injury, that's what you're hoping for. And the way he's prepared, he was given good signs that he could impact the game like he normally does. But obviously, to be playing at that level after missing 3.5 months is not easy at all. So credit to him and all the staff that were there for him. On if he'd like Saka to sign a new deal in the summer, I think we all would. Along with Lewis-Skelly and Nwaneri, there's something to be done with signing all the contracts at the same time. And they're all Haaland boys, people. Yeah, when the time comes, we'll have those conversations. I'm sure the club is very on top of it. I think Bukayo has been very clear with what his intentions are as well. So I think everything is in the right place, hopefully. But let's get it signed on the dotted line. Moving away from that, Arsenal Kings of London for the 3rd straight season, people. Wednesday's night's encounter with Crystal Palace will be our final London derby of the campaign. But while 3 points against the Eagles is still up for grabs, our title as the Kings of the capital is once again secure. That's because for the 3rd season in a row, we have come out on top of the Premier League London mini table, having picked up more points from derby matches than any other side from the city. As well as doing a double against our arch rivals, Tottenham Hotspur, definitely not our rivals. 4 points have been taken from each of our encounters with Chelsea, Fulham and Brentford, while 5 goals were netted in wins against West Ham United and Crystal Palace, the only capital club to beat us this term so far. Fair play. So, yeah, Tottenham, they used to be near the bottom of anything. They're there. West Ham have had a shoddy season. Palace have had a mixed season domestically. Brentford and Fulham are doing their thing. Surprisingly, Chelsea are up there as well. So, yeah, most Premier League London mini wins. Arsenal have 16. Chelsea have 10. So, yeah, man, just keep doing what you're doing, people. And again, to go over the injury stuff once again, he played quite coy on Jorginho. He played quite coy on Calafiori. Seemed upbeat on Bukayo Saka, people. So we'll have to see how these things go. Arteta says Jorginho will be out for a few weeks. On Saka, we'll have to wait and see how he reacts after the situation, but it's nothing too serious. If you want to play him, I think he'll have a good chance to play tomorrow. Calafiori is not fit for the Palace game. If Jorginho will be back before the end of the season, I hope so, but I'm not certain. It was quite a scary situation, so it's not what we want to hear. There's little downfall to be had, man. Matter of time till Alonso or some other new managers at the helm for Liverpool. I can't wait for your downfall. First, the guard of honor for Liverpool, then PSG, the final dagger. Well, I think you've come to the wrong place if you want a reaction out of me. I actually think we should give Liverpool a guard of honor. It's sport at the end of the day. So, yeah, man, we're just going to have to get on with it. The Ops really going through stressful mania about the possibility of Arsenal winning the Champions League. Darwin, if you're going to troll, at least smash the like button, mate. I think box to box, he's shown he's a ball carrier and good passing range. Neil, big up yourself. You're obviously referring to Myles Lewis-Skelly. Alonso wouldn't survive Christmas if he went Madrid this summer. We'd have to see. I think he would. But we'd have to see. And to be frank with man, I'd rather Alonso go Madrid than Liverpool find the moment to hire him. I hear it, man. DG, not even a question on Palace yet. Journalist needs to be sacked. It's true, man. And to be fair, though, on Crystal Palace, Palace won't field a weakened team at Arsenal in the potential title decider. Horrible, nasty work to say potential title decider. Yes, if Arsenal lose, Liverpool mathematically win it, but it's hard. It's not wrong choice of words, but it kind of is, people. Their manager said, we'll have to look at what's best and which players are in the best shape, but that does not mean we'll make 10 changes tomorrow. Maybe we'll change 2 or 3, but that's not because we value the Saturday game more than tomorrow's game. The fans deserve to see the best teams, and we'll play with the best available team tomorrow. That's what their gaffer has said, people. So, yeah, we'll have to see. He praised Martin Odegaard. He obviously said Crystal Palace have a good away record and are a good side. He said we've got to be sensible with our decision-making when looking at the lineup. Obviously, we can see there's several injuries. The biggest thing is Saka's not feeling the effects of that nasty tackle from the Ipswich lad, man. Be right at home in the Championship, if I'm completely honest. Tim Sherwood on Declan Rice said, there are some real leaders coming to the front there. Declan Rice, for me, he's the player this season for Arsenal. He's getting exceptional and he's getting better and better. I think he's an 8. He can play further up the pitch. I think you take a lot away from him if you play him as a 6. I always judge players based on if I want to play against them, and I don't want to play against Declan Rice. Thank you. Fair enough, man. Keep gassing him. Arteta's a full-blown lie. All these guys are cappers, man. Let Nwaneri start. Don't rest Rice. Start Lewis-Skelly in midfield. Pardon me. Klopp is a Madrid-level manager. I don't think Alonso is yet. Needs to do more. DG, who do you think Madrid will get after sacking Carlo? I think they're going to get Alonso, if I'm honest with you. Be a bit weird if Klopp jumped in straight back into management after saying he's not on it. But it's Madrid, innit? You have to take the opportunity. Keep the good work. Blood, it's all love. Appreciate you, my dude, man. Appreciate you. Smash the like button if you haven't already, folks. And appreciative to you lot tuned in, man. So, yeah, man, big up Declan Rice. Gone over that. Liverpool are planning a squad get-together to watch Arsenal's clash versus Palace in case they are crowned Premier League champions, to be expected. Now, what would you lot's lineup be, people? I have a number of decisions in relation to Crystal Palace I'm not decided on, because on one hand, I think it's a chance to be cute and clever, rest certain players here, give them less minutes, give other players an opportunity. At the same time, we are playing next Tuesday, so you've got, give or take 7, 8 or so days rest, so you could just play the same team. I don't think anybody put a foot wrong against Ipswich, so I wouldn't begrudge Mikel Arteta. So there's a lot of things I haven't decided, man. Do you continue to give Benjamin White some minutes in? I wouldn't say it's a nothing game, but quote unquote, it's a nothing game for Arsenal. We do want to remain second and not drop lower, but we're probably going to get top 4. Crystal Palace, the season from a domestic campaign is you're kind of going to finish where you're going to finish, and they've got a big fixture this weekend. So do you get Timber and Lewis-Skelly back in and play the strongest team ever and build momentum and confidence and all of that, and obviously want to get 3 points, do the double over Crystal Palace, or do you rest and give opportunities to players? I'm still kind of undecided. I would love to see Tierney start, but you know what? Yeah, I think MLS deserves to start. But I'm going to go with Zinchenko. I don't think obviously Crystal Palace is a very different test, but I don't think he put a foot wrong against Ipswich, so I'll start him. I do think Ben White looked a bit rusty. There is minutes in the tank for him. Do you know what? I'd rather, White go out there. Timber, you can come off the bench. Let's get some minutes into the legs of Benjamin White. Where midfield's concerned is where it gets a bit techie for me, because I would start Partey. I would start Declan Rice, even though I could understand if this was an opportunity to not start Rice, but we're not the same without Rice in the engine room. Could be an opportunity to give Nwaneri minutes in the 10, but I'm going to persist with Odegaard for now. It'd be nice to see Saka start against Palace after. That's where his season halted. I'm going to go Nwaneri. I'm still undecided on that. It's an opportunity to play Sterling, but I think I'm going to try and keep Martinelli's momentum going. And Trossard, you did very well against Ipswich, to be brutally honest, to be fair to you, but I'm going to go Marino. So my starting 11 would be Raya, Kivior, Saliba, White, Zinchenko, Rice, Partey, Odegaard, Nwaneri, Martinelli, and Mikel Merino, people. Let me know you lots. I'd only start Lewis-Skelly in midfield to test if he's a viable replacement for Partey in the first leg. Who feels Partey's role in the first leg of the semi for you, DG? It's a techie one. Marino. I would want to go Lewis-Skelly, but I'd say Marino, just Trossard's there. But then you've showed your hand, didn't it? Because you ain't got, not that we've needed it, but then there's no one, not that you want it either, but there's no one off the bench to kind of help us, man. So I'd go with that. Sadiq, one love, my guy. Man thought he did something. It's all love, man. It's all love. This would be my, wait, someone's at my door. 1 second, folks. 1 second, folks. But this would be my lineup. Oh, I do love an Amazon delivery, me. Hey, but we're back again now. But yeah, it's a techie one, man. I would say Marino first choice, then the Lewis-Skelly experiment, innit? If I'm honest with you, you could throw Zinchenko in midfield and have Lewis-Skelly left back. I think if Lewis-Skelly goes in midfield, I think he's going to play Zinchenko fullback just because it keeps the inverted thing kind of going and whatnot. Admittedly, I'd want to go MLS in midfield, Tierney left back, but again, it changes the dynamics, rightly or wrongly, of what the gaffer Mikel Arteta wants in it. So I just can't see that happening. So it is what it is. I can't have Marino up front in the Champions League. Marino has to play up front. I can't not have Marino up front in the Champs. I hear that. Look what it's come to, bro. I'm saying we have to start Marino up front. Berta's got to get things going, man. Berta's got to get things going. Berta's got to get things going because we can't have these. Listen, Marino, you're showing you're an option up front. If we can have you and Kai Havertz in the squad that can play in a bunch of roles and do a job up front, great. But I need to see a Gyökeres or a proper number 9. I'm at the listen, whether it's his, I would love Isaac. It's not going to happen. But Isaac, Gyökeres, Sesko, get me my striker, and then we consider all of the, like, whether they can do the business or not at a later date. I would love, in the dream world, you get your Gyökeres and you get your Sesko, or you get your Gyökeres and you just got another option there in Ollie Watkins, and then you've got all the other options. You got in fit form Martinelli, you got Trossard about, probably need to bring in another left winger. You know you've got Nwaneri and Saka. Bob's your uncle, and you're laughing really and truly. But moving away from that, there's been a lot of talk about PSG, and ironically, Tab Police not laughing at me now, are they? They're not laughing at me because we're providing a good show. PSG boss Luis Enrique rejects huge Arsenal threat as ruthless Liverpool comparison made. Luis Enrique has offered his thoughts on Arsenal ahead of the Champions League semi-final showdown. Luis Enrique has dismissed suggestions that Arsenal's prowess at set pieces could be a problem for his PSG team, highlighting that he'll approach the match as he would any other side. I hear that. Clearly, we're a threat from set pieces, in that I'm sure there's some unique qualities that PSG have. But I think that's a bit lazy. You know, we're still being reduced as a set piece side. We've shown we can do traditional set pieces. We can do the short thing. I wouldn't say any Arsenal fan is necessarily happy on a consistent basis with, you know, our creativity in the final third, but nobody's doing that. They're not scoring from open play BS again. And nobody's talking about how, whether we, you know, again, Arteta needs to get over the line, but how we're set up tactically to stifle teams, and these players are in certain positions, and the way we press, bit lazy. I know it gets clicks and it gets me speaking, but a bit lazy to, you know, I'm not even trying to gas up my team. It's just, it's very lazy analysis on Arsenal Football Club, which makes me want to skip through the tosh and hear exactly what Enrique said. Liverpool are a team that has at least as much potential as Arsenal, if not more. Fair enough. Aston Villa also has great potential in this area, as do the majority of League R teams. We will prepare our team based on this aspect of the game in particular, but it's obvious that we must be competitive elsewhere. I mean, they oversold it there. Mikel Marino's remarkable run of form as a striker for Arsenal means it has been easy to forget that he's actually a midfielder. Big up Simon Collins, but it ain't. Big up Marino, but we know he's a midfielder. We know he's been doing his thing. Highlight of his Arsenal career so far has to be the 2 games against Real Madrid, give or take, you know, with doing his thing against Leicester. Across both legs of the Champions League quarter-final, he was actually involved in all 3 goals from open play. Arsenal scored from open play. I just wish certain people, unlike Simon Collins, that, Simon's done his research. The other tab did not. Scoring 1 and assisting the other 2. Imagine that if you said we get Real Madrid in the semi-finals, we'd actually look comfortable. We'd stifle them. There'd be not a sniff from their individual qualities. And you said it would have Kivior, it would have Lewis-Skelly at left back. If you said this in the summer, Marino would be up front. Saka would be, because what people need to remember, Saka's not fully fit, which is alarmingly good from him. But that's why we love football, innit? Because it's logical until it's illogical, innit? And football's not played or won on paper. So yeah, he probably has to go back in midfield. Partey is suspended for that game at the Emirates, as we know. Jorginho is a doubt due to a rib injury. And yeah, he may have to shift and be a bit cute and clever, Mikel Arteta. But these things can happen, people. So yeah, Marino, do your thing. He was known as a jewel monster. To be fair, he's always won his jewels at Arsenal. We've gone over this with Bukayo, but if you're just tuning in, when the time comes, we will have those conversations. I'm sure the club is very on top of it. Bukayo has been very clear of what his intentions are as well. I think everything is in the right place. I mean, it's, PSG is someone or a team that I guess is quite close to the heart of Mikel Arteta, and we're going to have to see how that one there develops. People have a lot to say about Martin Odegaard. He's the orchestrator, most through balls completed with 13, most final third passes completed 543. I ain't giving up on you yet, but you do need to get your act together. Could you imagine if this was our team for 2025-26, or at least a option, if you could have Nico Williams, Gyökeres and Saka as your front 3, Declan Rice, Zubimendi and Odegaard as your midfield, Lewis-Skelly at left back, the 2 big boys in Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, and you've got Timber, and we actually have the numbers. I don't know, what would you lot make? Could we get over the line with this? Assuming Williams gets more goals than Martinelli, assuming Gyökeres, I know he's got like 46 or something goals in as many games. Even if you got like 20, we know what Saka brings to the table. A fit and firing Odegaard, Zubimendi at the base, Rice continuing as an 8, Lewis-Skelly doing what he's doing. These boys more so, Gabriel chipping in from set pieces. It could be a movie. And we definitely need a striker, because look at it. Arsenal's top scorers in the Premier League after 33 games this season. Kai Havertz has 9. Gabriel Martinelli and Trossard have 7. Mikel Marino has 6. Saka has 6. Nwaneri has 4. Partey has 4. Jesus has 3. Magalhaes has 3. Odegaard has 2. Rice has 2. Now, Rice scored 2 great goals in the Champions League. And, I think in terms of goals and assists, he's better technically in all comps, better last year. And since he's come to Arsenal, he's been improving in that regards. But his primary job is not going to live or die by scoring goals. We all know of Martin Odegaard's form. Gabriel Magalhaes is injured, but we know he's good from set pieces. Jesus is allergic to scoring. Unfortunately, when he was getting into a bit of form, he got injured. Partey, unlikely source of goals, but we know there's going to be a couple of headers and an occasional screamer across the season. Nwaneri, has gone from being a young player on the peripheral things to scoring goals, but he's not the main guy like that. Saka is one of the main guys. He was obviously injured. That's why his 6 goals. Take nothing away from Mikel Marino, but he's, it's taken him a while to get going. And again, as much as he's playing up front, if his primary job is for us to score goals, which evidently wins games, we're in trouble. And he's found his feet. Like, you look at, to be honest, Martinelli, Trossard, Marino, they've had, it's not just purple patches, but they've had a little purple patch across the season. Apart from Saka, who's been injured, nobody really provides that consistency. So yeah, we've got 100 goals in all comps. It shows that the goals are staggered. Kai would probably be on a bit more if he was fit. But it tells you why we need a striker. Like, we need a striker. We need the goals win games. We need that X factor. We need that striker. We need to find a way of holding on to games from winning position. We got 12 draws. If we converted half of that, the title is still on. And not to speak about the losses. The losses had a lot of problems, but you look at, for me, Bournemouth, which everything went wrong. West Ham, which everything went wrong. Newcastle, which everything went wrong. And it's nothing to all. There's all other factors, but you look at it. We've gone into those games off the back of some very intense games. So again, quantity as well as quality is required, but we need a forward. We saw that stat with Odegaard, but apparently Arsenal staff have a concern about Martin Odegaard. Allegedly, they've raised concerns behind the scenes about his fitness. I think he's still playing with an injury. It won't shock me if he has some sort of surgery. I think he's lacking in confidence because his form's on the floor and because of that ankle. That being said, I'm not cutting excuses, because regardless, you've been fit for a while now. You're fit enough to play. I commend you if you are injured with wanting to play, but ultimately you're playing in it. So, yeah, man, form is temporary, class is permanent. But Wonderguard, we need you to get back to it, man. A 2-month injury layoff with an ankle issue between September and November is believed to have caused him further issues, which have contributed to the ones his dip to ones contributed to ones towards. I think they mean his dip in form. Allegedly, people, there's concerns. Let's see exactly what was said. From what I hear, there are concerns about Odegaard. His performances haven't been up to his usual standard since he got injured earlier in the year. I think that's something they're worried about, whether he has fully recovered from that blow or whether he's suffering from the long-term impact of it. When I look at Arsenal, I see Declan Rice and the influence he has on the team. You know what you're getting with Rice. He's giving you consistent performances. His role in the middle and what he brings to the team is clear. There are other players in that side, like Odegaard, who go through highs and lows. I think Arsenal want to surround Rice with players who can make a real difference week in and week out. Aside from Saka, they don't create an abundance of chances at the moment. And when they do, you never know if they're going to put them away. Saka has to create and score them. So that's where the questions about Odegaard come in. He's a very good technical player, but at the moment, he isn't consistent enough and isn't doing enough to make the difference they've been looking for. This is also said Partey and Jorginho's contracts are running out, which we already know. People smash the like button, and we're still pursuing Martin Zubimendi. On the topic of Gyökeres, Graham Bailey has spoken, people, and said Arsenal sporting director Andrea Berta is becoming increasingly keen on signing Gyökeres, TBR can reveal. The club want a win now striker and Berta believes that Gyökeres might be the final piece of the jigsaw. Arsenal have continued to do their work on Gyökeres and have been conducting background checks as they do on all major targets. Those reports have all been glowing as a person and character, aside from his talent on the pitch, which the club already convinced about. Music to my ears, but get it done. Until he's holding shirts, saying I grew up watching Bergkamp, Ian Wright, Thierry Henry, it's all was. Apparently, Berta tips Gyökeres to make immediate Arsenal impact, people. We'll have to see. Apparently, Graham Bailey understands that Berta now firmly believes Gyökeres could be an instant starter for Arsenal. A striker is ready to plug in and play win now mode. So, yeah, if we've done background checks on his character, if we're convinced of his ability and he's 26, ready to go, let's do it, innit? And those reports on Gyökeres have all been glowing as a person and character. Aside from his talent on the pitch, which Arsenal are already convinced about, Gyökeres is attracted to Arsenal's project, and both Berta and Arteta really like the striker. Arsenal are interested in the likes of Benjamin Sesko, Liam Delap, and even Hugo Ekitike, who David Ornstein spoke about. But there are some doubts about whether these youngster strikers will be ready from the off. Arsenal want a win-now addition, and Berta believes that a striker might be the final piece of the jigsaw. I wouldn't say the final piece of the jigsaw, but it would help. Of course, and on the topic of strikers who could be ready to make an impact at the Emirates immediately, Vlahovic's name still can't be ruled out, still linked with him. Allegedly, Arsenal are still big fans of the Juventus forward, who's probably going to depart Juventus owing to his contract and the fact that he earns, I think, 12 million a year, highest salary both at Juventus and in Italy. He'd be a cheaper option than Gyökeres, perhaps allowing Berta more wiggle room in the pursuit of additional targets. Yeah, but he'd probably command bigger wages. Vlahovic is back starting regularly for Juventus, but a new contract for the Serbian international is still no closer. Vlahovic could cost around 25 million for Premier League clubs this summer, a bargain price when it's considered that Juventus paid more than double that for the striker in 2022. A big summer for Berta and Arteta, and one that the club seem to be determined to get right, which we're going to need to. Once again, we've heard Arsenal are opening talks with Gyökeres, people, in an early summer deal. Berta, once again, is a big fan. Negotiations are taking place to convince him, and a package is being put together for his signature. Osimhen, who's been linked with Man United today, has been name dropped here, as has Benjamin Sesko, people. We're going to have to see how that goes. We're still being linked with Kingsley Coleman, which I don't buy, but if you do, fair play. Dean Jones has said Arsenal are yet to fully make up their minds on whether they'll make a move to sign Nico Williams, but the player is a key target, Give Me Sports sources have confirmed. While Arteta would also love to bring him to the club, private suggestions to Give Me Sport have confirmed that although Arsenal are wary of how much Williams is going to demand in terms of salary, the player will not let such an element stand in his way of making a move if that's what he decides to do. Now, maybe there's concerns about the players. Maybe there's other players available. Maybe, whatever. Maybe he doesn't want to leave Bilbao. Maybe he wants to wait for Barcelona or another club. Maybe we haven't received enough, maybe we believe in the man's ability. We've heard Berta's allegedly spoken to his agent, which every club is doing that with every potential target. If he's spoken to his agent and you ain't really seeing positive signals like that, then that's probably where we're yet to make up our minds. Maybe you haven't been given enough conviction to humor you lot to pursue it, in which let's move on and go for other targets. Romano has said, from what I'm hearing, Arsenal are also interested in Hudson, Newcastle's dream of him. I think it's going to be very difficult to get the deal done now with Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal. These three clubs are really interested. What else has he said? These three clubs are really interested. I think he's going to stay in the Premier League because there's genuine interest from Real Madrid, and the player would be really attracted by Real Madrid as a Spanish player, of course. But at the same time, I'm hearing that internally at Real Madrid, they're still not whether they, I think they mean not sure. They're still not whether they want to sign a centre-back or not in the summer, how much they spend. They have Raul Asensio at the club, who was doing very well. Was he? Wasn't doing very well in the long 90 minutes at Bilbao, was he? Moving away from that. So that's why Real Madrid are not convinced, not about Heischen, but about signing a centre-back in the summer. This is why the timing is helping the English clubs. So Liverpool will be there, Arsenal will be there, Chelsea will be there. There's a release, 50 million. So negotiations is on the player side, basically. I'm sure these clubs will push and push again in the next days, weeks to try and reach an agreement with Heischen and their camp people. I mean, bring him to the carpet, people. Apparently, he intends to leave Bournemouth. We've also heard Ornstein smash the like button. We've also heard Ornstein say that he's coming in to complement the likes of Saliba and Gabriel rather than necessarily replace them. Music to my ears, if true. And Mbeumo's having a great season at Brentford. Allegedly, Arsenal remain keen on Mbeumo, and Premier League clubs are on red alert. His contract is expiring. I think he's got an option of another year. I think he's got a year left in 2026. And apparently Liverpool, Man United, Newcastle, as well as Arsenal, all interested. He's got 50 million price tag. He's been called a mini Mo Salah. I'm not sure I agree with that, but yeah, he's having his best season in West London, people. He ranks joint fourth among the Premier League's top goal scorers. He's got 18 goals, 18 goals, 7 assists in 37 appearances. I'm on it. Arsenal are believed to be eyeing a new wide forward after the season, with Bilbao's Nico Williams earmarked as a high-profile alternative to Mbeumo. I'm not going to lie, I'm having Gyökeres and Mbeumo. I like Nico Williams, but I'm not on this Lele thing. By all means, go after Gyökeres, Sesko, Zubimendi, Nico Williams, but when it becomes apparently clear, for whatever reason, whether that's wages, maybe the player wants to sign for us and you can't agree something with his club, make sure we're able to pivot. Really and truly, we need to. Once again, people, we're still yet to fully decide on Nico Williams. This has said he's still torn over the prospect of leaving Atletico in the upcoming summer transfer window. I hear it. You're 22. You might even win the Europa League with Bilbao in your homeland. You might get to play in the Champions League with them. I don't know where you're at, but if he's in two minds, we ain't got time to waste. So I think that's, if he's moving half-hearted, I think that's why Arsenal are moving half-hearted. You know, we learned, I would say we've learned the lesson, because we went after Rafinha, where at the time we were the third choice. He wanted to go to Chelsea if it wasn't Barca, and you saw it work. There's no point chase people that don't want us. What has this said in relation to Williams? Everybody just saying the same things. We know it'd be a good signing for us. We know we've been linked with not only Bournemouth's Henson, but also Brentford's Nathan Collins. One other thing I find interesting is Arsenal is looking for another defender. Dean Hudson and Nathan Collins are two they're looking at, and they insist they want them to complement Saliba and Gabriel. Fair enough. Arsenal decide to not renew Thomas Partey's contract. According to Sancha Trivelli, Arsenal have taken the decision not to renew the contract of Thomas Partey. The Ghanaian international midfielder's contract with the Premier League club is set to expire at the end of the season. As a result, the 31-year-old looks set for a departure in the summer transfer window as a free agent. Apparently, this has alerted the interest of several clubs. Trivelli understands that clubs in both the Premier League and Saudi Arabia would be interested in signing the 31-year-old on a free transfer. Whilst the midfielder is happy in London and would be willing to stay in England, talks over a move to the Saudi Pro League have already begun. He's also been linked with Barcelona and a move back to Atletico Madrid. And there's rumours every now and again how he's got an option in his option of a further year in his deal, hasn't been taken up. He's rejected a potential contract offer for Arsenal, or it's undecided. Who knows? I personally think they've made a decision on him. The former Atletico Madrid midfielder has impressed the Ministry of Sports in the Gulf state with his performances in the UEFA Champions League, and Partey is understood to have responded well to their interests. Of course, with the zeros they're going to throw at you. So yeah, he's apparently settled here. Apparently he's being offered a potential 3-year contract. So the money you're going to get in Saudi and a 3-year deal at 31, I hear it, especially if we end up winning the biggies. Fair enough. Arsenal seemingly agreed a deal for Martin Zubimendi had hit a stumbling block, but the Gunners will still be confident they can get the deal over the line. Joshua Kimmich has been linked with us, but owing to his new deal at Bayern Munich, I'd imagine that's a myth. Looking at this, people, it's linked us with Liam Delap, who apparently has emerged as a target for Arsenal, though the Ipswich striker is set to buck a broader transfer trend at the Emirates Stadium as new sporting director Andrea Berta puts his stamp on the club. Apparently, Delap has joined Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins on the Gunners' shortlist for a supporting striker role as part of Berta's revamped transfer strategy. Watkins, who Arsenal approached back in Jan, is viewed as a striker oven ready to lead the line. I like that terminology. Delap, on the other hand, has impressed Berta with his physicality and development this season and is considered a viable rotational option who could complement a lead striker such as Victor Gyökeres. But surely that would be Kai Havertz and maybe even Marino, because I think Marino will still get substantial game time in midfield. The inclusion of both strikers speaks to the club's new two-striker plan. One proven Premier League name, another younger option who offers flexibility, potential, and sell-on value. Sesco pays the price for Berta's new approach. Sources say Berta was clear from day one. Arsenal need to win now. That means competing for the Premier League and pushing deep into the Champions League. To do that, he believes the club must shift away from signing younger players and instead focus on players who are already operating at the highest level. Do you agree? Do you not disagree? Smash the like button and let me know. Benjamin Sesko is one player who appears to have been affected by this new approach. While still admired internally, the 20-year-old is no longer seen as a top priority under Berta's direction. Instead, the focus has moved firmly to players like Watkins. In those early planning meetings, Arteta also floated the idea of Morata, but Berta dismissed it, insisting Watkins was the better fit. That led to a concrete approach for the England international during the transfer window. Clear switch in Arsenal's transfer strategy. At the beginning of the season, Arsenal's transfer plan, shaped by Edu and Mikel Arteta, was clear. Continue targeting young, high-profile talents who could develop into first-team stars over time. But that vision has shifted significantly since Berta took over as sporting director. The Italian is already stamping his authority at the club, with sources telling Football Transfers he's leading a major change in how Arsenal approach the market. Now the focus is firmly on bringing in players who can make an immediate impact. As part of that shift, Arsenal just aren't chasing a marquee striker this summer. They're also in the market for a second forward who can add depth and versatility to the attack, something Football Transfers has previously reported. It's clear Berta is already shaping Arsenal's identity in the transfer market. With Arteta back in the new direction, the Gunners look set for a summer transfer window centered not around potential but proven quality. And that would also tie in with here, because Arteta has been on record saying Arsenal are in store for an exciting summer transfer window and a busy summer is to be expected. So we'll have to see how that develops, people. Arsenal target, I'm not even going to waste time on this. Allegedly, Jules Koundé has informed Arsenal of his desire to remain at Barca. We were linked with you just before we got Ben White, so you never know. His contract is up in 2027. Barcelona are always in a delicate financial state, and it's just easy to make whispers up about any player. So with Timber, pardon me, and obviously Ben White, if Koundé was a left back, I'd believe slightly more into this, but yeah, I don't think it's a that thing. Is there any updates here? Let's see what's said here with Nico Williams. Nico Williams is torn whether to join Arsenal, stay at Bilbao this summer. I understand it's the first significant move. You know, Bilbao's all you need. But if you need all you know, but if you need convincing, this ain't the club for you. Give Me Sport report that Arsenal have made Williams once again a key summer target, but have not yet decided on it. Apparently, he's still very attached to his hometown club and would find it difficult to leave. He would also be more likely to remain if Athletic qualify for the Champions League. They're currently fourth in La Liga with 6 games remaining, and they're also into the semi-finals of the Europa League. They win that, they've got a place there anyways. As for Williams, he's also torn on whether to accept to move to Arsenal if an offer does arrive, or whether to stay at Bilbao. Apparently, we'd be happy to trigger his 58 million euros release clause, even if his wages, are a lot of money. Barcelona and Arsenal are still in the mix, and you'd imagine everyone and their nan would be interested in someone of Nico Williams' quality. We are being linked, and like a number of clubs, in Florian Wirtz, as is Real Madrid, who apparently are close to getting Xabi Alonso. Wouldn't surprise me if Wirtz either goes to Bayern Munich. Well, to be fair, you could see him at Bayern Munich, you could see him at Real Madrid, you could also see him at Manchester City as that kind of Kevin De Bruyne replacement. I would love Arsenal to be in the mix for Wirtz, people. Apparently, we're in the mix. I don't know how far that goes. He would be someone that could play with or in place of Martin Odegaard. He would, however, cost 120 to 130 million euros. Man United are nearing an agreement with Matheus Cunha, but will still need to activate his 62.5 million release clause. I only mention that because allegedly United's initial talks with Cunha's camp has been very positive for now, but there's still no formal offer. Arsenal and Newcastle are monitoring his situation and have also made inquiries about his availability. His price will be 70 million euros, which probably equates to his release tag. You did see a few weeks ago that Arsenal's interest in one away Wolves star Cunha has not gone away ahead of the summer transfer window, people. And this said at the time we could be fighting Liverpool for his signature. I'd imagine Berta knows all about him, so we'll have to see what's going on there. Arsenal chief reveals 2 things Gunners want to do at Emirates Stadium. What do you lot want to do? There could only be expansions. We all know we're playing close games with profit and sustainability. I covered this in the last stream, people. Naturally, long story short, obviously, Cronkies have a lot of clubs. They opened that SoFi Stadium, which is set to host the 2026, couple 2026 games in that World Cup. Naturally, whatever they've done there, you probably want to add things there. Obviously, we want to maximize our revenue on and off the field. And we want to try and get to an 80 capacity stadium. In 2023-24, the last published financial year, Arsenal earned 131 million through turnstiles. It was second only to Man United. Fair enough, Man United and Arsenal fans, I don't think they're, wrong in wanting to see a bit more bang for their buck. Arsenal received clear transfer message from Espanyol over Garcia. Their head coach has dropped a major hint, allegedly. We made an attempt to sign him last summer. That never happened, people. I can't guarantee he'll stay at Espanyol next season. You're all seeing the level he's at, which is what it is. Fair enough, people. We know he's been described as the Lionel Messi of goalkeepers as well. At the moment, I'm not thinking about the future, but you never know. If it happens, let it happen in the best way. If in the end it turns out I have to leave, how can I not say goodbye well? Espanyol, the club that has given me everything. If I go through the back door, it wouldn't go well. Fair enough. What's this? Bayern Munich are not the main priority for Wirtz if he decides to leave Leverkusen this summer. Wirtz is said to be impressed by Man City and Pep Guardiola, and there's no mention of us, people. While the sum of 110 million euros plus add-ons has been circulated, is a sum that does not interest Leverkusen. Previous reports have indicated the price tag will be 150, which is crazy. Intermediaries allegedly have informed Arsenal, Chelsea, and Liverpool that Rafinha is available for 80 million this summer. There's also subsequential transfer renewal deals, and Barcelona be crazy. Him and Yalmar, your match winners, really. We have once upon a time been linked with Muniz and Hugo Ekitike. Apparently, Chelsea have held discussions with the agents of the Fulham and also the Eintracht Frankfurt striker. So one to watch closely. Again, Arsenal allegedly consider Nico Williams a key target, but the winger is undecided as to whether he wants to leave the club this summer. Man United, again, where we're leaving Sesko, apparently have maintained contact with the agents of Sesko since he rejected a move to Old Trafford in 2022. I don't believe this, but allegedly Julian Alvarez was reportedly having doubts about his Atletico Madrid future after growing disappointed with their performances in the second half of last season. Moise Kean was linked with us on a half-hearted one. Apparently Bayern are interested. He's also linked with Barcelona, people. I don't buy it. I'm not going to waste time on that. Arsenal almost signed Sesko last summer. We heard that already. We're not going to keep waffling about that. We will like Isak. Nobody really cares about any Isak chat at this moment in time. It does not help us out one bit. He'd be bloody amazing. What childhood club? Oh, Arsenal, your childhood club. I mean, that's a bit boring news here, isn't it? We were linked with Marseille's Luis Enrique, along with a number of clubs, people, including Bayern Munich. Apparently, Inter Milan are advancing on completing his signature. So that's another nonsense rumor that goes away. As I said earlier, Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey are set to face off as Norwich and Cardiff managers, respectively, in what's left of the Championship. Don't you lot think it's crazy? There could be 10 Premier League teams. I don't think it will be, but there could be 10 Premier League teams in European competitions next season. Top 5, as you know, get the Champions League. If Manchester United or Spurs win the Europa League, they'll qualify for the Champions League. 6th and 7th get Europa League. If Crystal Palace win the FA Cup, they get Europa League. If any of Aston Villa, Man City, Nottingham Forest win the FA Cup and finish top 5, their Europa League spot will pass down to the 8th or 9th place team, depending on. If Chelsea win the Conference League and finish in the top 7, their Europa League spot will pass down to 8th. Newcastle will qualify in the top 7 and their Conference League spot from winning the EFL Cup gets passed down. Crazy, innit? I wouldn't say it's simple. Aston Villa apparently explore Ollie Watkins' sale. Apparently, they want to let him go, people, for 50 to 60 million. So that could be one to watch in the summer, people. Mohamed Kudus is someone we all like. Apparently, he's drawing interest from clubs in Saudi Arabia. Apparently, it's widely reported that Saudi clubs will have to pay 120 million release clause to him. That price drops for Premier League sides, who would pay just about 85 million. I like Kudus, but is he worth the money? Is he worth that kind of money? I don't know. Andrea Berta is reportedly prioritizing the signing of Gyökeres. We've heard that already, so I'll be boring you lot saying the same things. We've been linked with Adam Walton, people. He'd be good, especially with what we're doing with Declan Rice. Arsenal have been touted for a huge move for Adam Wharton as Mikel Arteta gets serious about rebuilding his midfield. I'm on that, but Crystal Palace are going to charge us an arm and a leg. Thomas Partey's played 46 times for our football club this season at 31 is crazy. We're continuously getting linked with Martin Zubimendi. Some reports say hijack business, cold feet business. Arsenal are still confident that he's going to sign for us. Sammy Motbell and all these guys have spoken. Who knows, people? I mean, I'd like Adam Wharton, but it hasn't said it. It hasn't said anything really and truly. Adam Wharton is an absolute baller. To have Lewis-Skelly, Adam Wharton, a next midfielder, and Marino and Rice, we're laughing. And can't forget Wondergaard. I'm not going to read this to you, but Ryan Cherky has been compared to Mesut Ozil, people, which would be amazing if he signed for Arsenal. Arsenal will not be alone in their interest in Lyon attacker Ryan Cherky in the summer. If we really are interested in him, along with everyone else, apparently Arsenal named mention among the clubs reportedly showing interest. I don't care what Rio Ferdinand's had to say, but I'd love Ryan Cherky. In terms of market opportunity, Napan, who was linked with us in January, apparently Aston Villa are closing in on an agreement with the Norwegian wonder kid on personal terms. The club is almost agreed with the finer details being sorted. Now club to club talks with Rosenborg will follow, people. Most assists per 90 this season in Europe's top 5 leagues. Bukayo Saka with 0.63. Mo Salah with 0.55. So, yeah, 2 good right wingers. Who do you think will win PFA Young Player of the Year? I personally think they're going to give it to Morgan Rogers. I personally think you can look no other than Myles Lewis-Skelly, but we know we're not going to win them awards. Some of you wanted Openda, people. He could be available from Leipzig. Allegedly, he's expected to stay at Leipzig. However, the German club would only consider selling him if an offer of 70 million euros, so that's about 60 odd, arrives, people. So we'll have to see. Arsenal target is refusing to sign a new contract at his current club. Who's this about? We know Partey set to leave. At this point, I'm tired of speaking about Gyökeres. Martin Zubimendi is approaching his last 6 games at Sociedad. We know we're interested in him. Berta is confident of signing Zubimendi despite all the noise about Real Madrid also being in the race for his signature this summer. But in terms of Zubimendi putting pen to paper, the midfielders refused to sign a new contract at Sociedad, according to AS. In their report, the outlet claims the Spanish international is now approaching the final 6 games of his time at the club. It's considered a foregone conclusion that Zubimendi will finally leave his boyhood club in the summer, a message that Liverpool weren't lucky enough to receive last summer. Berta might need to sign 2 midfielders. Where are we with that, people? I personally think we need 2 midfielders, personally. Is anything new? Come on, man. Tell us Ronaldinho wants to. What? Okay. Okay. I thought it was okay. Jacob Greaves, you're cool. I thought there needs to be further punishment for this twat Davies, because what kind of tackle was that on Bukayo Saka? I'm still getting vexed about that, people. Big up Eddie and Nketiah, but we're not going to waste time. I'm respectfully to Eddie and Nketiah and Crystal Palace. Aren't we happy that Eddie and Nketiah is someone else's problem now? I'm sure you all are, man. But let me get back into what you lot are saying, man. Nepan, even the name sounds like a flop, just like Højlund. Agenda. Possible 3 if Jorginho and Partey go. I think 2. And then Lewis-Skelly might be the 3rd. I didn't mention the fullbacks being homegrown because I don't think they were. Can't recall their left back, Abida and some moments. Who are you referring to then? Man, Williams, just waiting for Barca again. I wouldn't want Mbuemo. I want a starting winger, but honestly, who else is out there? Why would you want Mbuemo? Wharton and Eze would be a Mazza. It'd be a Mazza, but Wharton's setting you back 100 million. In my opinion, Crystal Palace is going to ask for that. Eze probably about 60 plus. Mad thing, really. But this is what football is nowadays. Smash the like button. Nico probably wants Barca. Him and Yamal together, but Barca is broke. Can't do a deal. If he wants that, safe. Like, move on and go somewhere else. Man said bring Taylor Swift concerts to the Emirates. Especially at Arsenal, where we not only take forever to sell players that are known to not be good enough, but also the fees we get for them. But it has to change a lot of detail around the club. If you buy wrong on a win now player, it can get long. It can, but the other way can as well, as we've seen. Berta knows what he's doing. Disagree with Berta. We'll miss out on plenty of talent not signing young. Now, I think we will sign young players where we can, but there needs to be a bit more of an emphasis, in my opinion, on players that can help us now. Obviously, if you're on early 20s, mid 20s, and you're a win now player, great. Is there too much difference between Sesko and Gyökeres beyond which one you want as a player? Probably not. 26, you can still be balling. You know, Lewandowski is in his late 30s, still doing his thing. Kane's doing his thing. For me, more than anything, because I'm on anything, the impossible dream would be Isaac. I don't care past this point now. If Isaac's the one, if Sesko's the one, If Watkins is the one, if Gyökeres is the one, just get me my striker, and then we talk about them after. Where I want Gyökeres is because that would tell me, right, he's 26. It's not really, obviously he needs to adapt and stuff, but you've seen enough from him without the ball to know he can do whatever the hell Mikel Arteta wants. Arteta likes him, Berta likes him, everyone's great. He's, you know, he's doing his thing in Portugal, did his thing in Coventry. He's ready right now. He knows his job. And that tells me you lot are serious about trying to get over the line, because I do think you need to always future-proof and market opportunities, but I do think you always get caught in that trap of tomorrow, and never quite at times seize the present. So that's why I would be happier to see Gyökeres over some. Is that be the dream? But myth, man. Yeah, so you can imagine money not really going to be the deciding factor in any move. Smash the likes if you haven't. Williams will probably be on that Havertz money if we sign him. Might be an omen. 200k a week he's on already. TP is on 200 grand a week. It's a madness. I don't think you're going to see, at least on these terms, a new party renewal, Saka, Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, new deals. Other players like Williams come in. We have to look at the wages, you know. Again, Zinchenko's on like 1/5. And even the ones that are not on, Havertz is on big money. Zinchenko, as I said, is future subject to speculation. Trossard's on something decent. The guys that are probably on anything from 30 to 50, you get rid of a couple of them, the wage bill starts getting better. I don't know how much we can change in a matter of months, but Berta's got a lot to do, man. A lot to do. A lot to do. Big up Aaron Talks Arsenal, man. Make sure you're following my guy, man. Anthony's doing more than this fraud in La Liga. And he's having a good little thingy, good little time. Big up in the circle, live from the cabin. Hammersmith Jams. Big up. shout out Hammersmith, man. I hope you've been getting a lot of what do you lot call it again? Fairs. There's a lot of players we can sign that improve us on a technical level. Only thing I wonder about is whether or not Arteta is still scouting personalities and temperament ahead of talent. Don't you have to, though? Because you can have the amount of ability in the world. And obviously, the X factor, the star players, the exception of the rules, that is something Arteta has to learn. But you can have all the ability and whatnot. If the attitude's not there, forget it. Gibbs White would look a better player with a short haircut and shaving the tash. I think he's all right, man. Just let him do his thing, man. Just let him do his thing. Just let him do his thing. Arteta would never sell Odegaard. Do you think Zubimendi can cope physically in the Premier League? It needs an adjustment period, but 100%. I'd take both Gyökeres and Delap. Have Delap as City's Alvarez before. We still have to sell Fabio. I'd sell Odegaard in the summer and get Bueno and Wirtz. I think you'd be disappointed if you want Odegaard sold in the summer, man. DG, that captain armband has carried too much weight on Odegaard. Yeah, but if he gets clipped for it, and he doesn't improve, where are we at now? Palace will rest players. Probably Eddie will start. They've never won an FA Cup, so FA Cup is more important for them. I hear that. For the record, I said way back when that I wouldn't swap Martinelli for Mbappe because Mbappe would do a Mazza in the dressing room. We're on the Mbappe versus Martinelli chat. Remember when we were linked with Mbappe and people wanted to sell or keep Martinelli? I'm showing Martinelli for Mbappe. 100%. It's Mbappe, man. Get Odegaard out there and it looks a good team. Damn. Love that team, Jess. But just imagine that team with a real 10 like Wirtz or even Cherky. Odegaard is holding us back from domination. Bit wicked to say he's holding us back, but I hear it, man. I hear it. Shout out yourself, Jafro, man. My guy, man. Thoughts on Cunha going United? Good signing for United if it gets over the line, to be fair. Look what it's come to. It's come to an absolute mazza, mate. It's come to an absolute mazza. DG, you're telling me you wouldn't swap Odegaard for Wirtz or Bueno? No. I'll just buy Wirtz. I wouldn't swap it. I wouldn't swap Odegaard for Bueno. Just buy Wirtz. Odegaard can stay. Just buy Wirtz. Just buy him. Man said alpha. Like, what's the Barcelona chat in here going on, man? What's the Barca chat? You can't just sign players. This squad is good enough for majors, needs trophies now, so it doesn't go to waste. You have to do both. Buy players that are going to impact us in the short, medium, or long term, but you can never stop future proofing. You can never stop that. I don't want us to. It sounds dumb, but you just have to juggle both. Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard, what's on the bench? We got a lot to do. Winning the Champions League opened what? Opened what? I think we're getting to the final. What's your stance if Arteta does not win the champs? Just have to go again. There's no stance to have. I mean, the man he's on 50 million a year. Recently signed a new deal. Berta's come in. The manager's not going to get clipped. Obviously, his coaching staff have signed new deals. Arteta in, out is redundant. The one thing I would say to Mikel Arteta, if it ends trophyless, is I'm going to be told the same thing I know, in that you make a lot of mistakes. You get a lot of things good. I do think you've made us a good team. I do think you're a good coach. The only question you can have is getting. There's obviously little isms and schisms, but the major thing is getting over the line. And every year you don't get over the line, that question is going to get bigger and bigger. And we're going to get to a point where maybe it might not guarantee success, but you're going to have to try something else. But yeah, man, it'd be good to win the champs just for us, man. Really. Big up DG. We need a proper 10. It's my dying wish. 10s are dead in today's day and age, though, man. I hear you, though. I definitely hear you. My message messed up. I was saying winning the champs opens up the potential of a different level of player to arrive at the club. I hear it. Doesn't seem like there's any emerging news on Turkey, my brother. It doesn't appear that there is. Is there anything else on Twitter? And again, we got to remember all these rumors. It's all fun and games, but people need to arrive at the football club. People need to be signed. People need to be holding shirts and etc. etc. Apparently, oh, wait. You know what? I could just share my screen with you. Look, give me a sec, people. You not having anyone from this list? Let's go into this. Oh, ain't pressed the share button. It's a long list, but these are players with less than 3 months left on their contract. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Tariq Mitchell, Angel Gomez, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Don't give Mikel Arteta any ideas, because the wickedest thing is that could end up being a plan B striker. Kyle Walker-Peters, Callum Wilson, Danny Ings, Eric Dyer, Anya, Jonathan David, Leroy Sané, Jonathan Tard, Thomas Muller, Lucas Nemecha. Right, how they let your contract run down? Kevin De Bruyne, Anguissa, our very own Thomas Partey, Lamptey. They gassed him. There's no way I can say Oliver Boskagli. Big up Lacazette, Tete, Neymar, Carlos Vinicius, Mario Pulisic, Luka Modric, Marco Verratti. I wonder if he returns back to Europe. Alex Moret, Jorginho, bloody hell, Cristiano Ronaldo. There's some good big names here, isn't it? Cristiano Ronaldo, Nelson Semedo, Antonio Lopez, Rio Patricio, João Moutinho, Diatta, Wolfer Benitez, Angel Di Maria, Tagliafico, Otamendi, Correa, Adama Traore, Lal, Reguilon, Sarabia, De Gea, Vasquez, Suso, Koke, Joan Bernat, Lindelof, Rooney Bajai, Mondava, Ben Davies, and the core. Some big names there. Obviously, I could be silly. I would take Trent Alexander-Arnold, but that's a myth. What names? You know what? And what? Hey, we must be able to get Anya on the free. That's a decent little squad filler. I don't know how many games you get, but you can play left back and right back, homegrown and whatnot. Any interview he gives, he gasses us. I'm having that in the squad. As a little squad filler, I want a left back. I would like a higher quality left back, but I wouldn't mind. Again, emphasis on the word squad. Squad player, I'd have Mitchell. I'd have Anya. Squad player plus other privileges, if that makes sense. Kevin De Bruyne, I would have him on ability, but the fitness and all of that stuff, and it's not going to make sense. Leroy Sané wouldn't be the worst, but I'm only targeting, pardon me, Leroy Sané, if whatever Berta and Arteta are trying to do in terms of wide options, that's like plan F or plan Z better yet. Danny Ings, no for me. Dyer, no. Wilson, no. Kyle Walker-Peters, no. Not the Muller of today. No. Nemecha, no. Anguissa, good player, but no. Wouldn't mind Partey signing a new deal. Lamptey shit. Lacazette, no. Neymar for the culture, 100%, but it don't make sense. Luka Modric, it's a shame that you're 39 or something or whatever, man. But no, on ability and because you're Luka Modric, yeah. Everything else considered, no. Verratti, the same logic. Obviously, he's a lot younger. Jorginho's already here. So anyone else? You just wish these were like prime. Imagine this. This would be great in Football Manager, innit? Can pick up a lot of decent little signings there. I wouldn't. Hey, Rooney Bajai, your contract ain't running down, bro. He had a massive injury as well. It's a Banduli one. What's that? 2025. Wait. Your contract expires in December. What's all that about? I don't know what's going on there, but you'd be a market opportunity if you developed and be good enough for our first team on a long, consistent basis. Great. If not, save money. Road to 70k. Smash the like, people. Come on. I could make a complete team out of those and come in the top 5 in the Prem. I don't even rate Pedro like that. You know, what's this Barca chat? I keep cutting in. I'm taking David and Mitchell. I remember when Chelsea signed Hazard over Chelsea or over Arsenal off the back of winning Champions League. That could be the same for us when going back for a player like Isaac. It's true. Man United as well. Jonathan David, squad player. If worst came to worst. Tar. I'd love Adam Wharton. Would you take Grealish if he was offered to us? Yes, because I like Grealish, but when I pull it all back, pause, it don't make sense. It don't make sense for us with Grealish. Apart from, as dumb as it sounds, you're a good player. I just don't think it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. They weren't that important. Oh, sorry. You lot do your Barca chat, man. You lot do your Barca chat. You lot do your Barca chat. Sorry for cutting in, man. But with that being said, what's the point boring you lot? I'll leave you lot to do your Barca chat. Again, I think there should be a video coming out at 7 p.m. Don't forget, tomorrow we will be doing a watch along. Appreciate you lot engaging, smashing like buttons, my members, my mods, all of that kind of stuff, man. Big up everyone watching on the replay. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. Peace. You always